For 40 years, the shadow of Philistine rule covered Israel like a suffocating shroud. They took the harvest of the poor, leaving nothing but tears and empty storehouses. In the dust of their villages, the people of Israel cried out for a deliverer, a people held by iron, waiting for a strength they could not imagine. Then came one born of promise, Samson, whose hands held the power of the Almighty. He tore through the mouth of a great beast as if it were a young goat. He carried the massive gates of Gaza upon his shoulders to the top of the hill. When the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon him, no thick thread could hold him. With the large curved bone, he stood alone against 1,000 men. Witness the epic journey of faith, betrayal, and the ultimate sacrifice. From the vineyards of Timnah to the temple of Dagon, the legend begins. Subscribe now for this 11-part saga. Follow the path of the Nazirite. For 40 long years, the people of Israel lived under the heavy, crushing hand of the Philistines. In the town of Zorah, a woman of the tribe of Dan lived a life of quiet prayer and barrenness. Suddenly, the air shimmered, and a messenger from the heavens stood before her.
You shall bear a son, and he shall begin to deliver Israel.
How can this be?
You will bear a son, and his name will be Samson.
Samson.
Let my blessing fill this land.
Breathless with awe, she ran to her husband Manoah to tell him of the man of God.
God of my fathers, hear my plea. Guide me and bless my family with strength.
God heard his prayer. The angel appeared once more to the woman in the field. Manoah followed his wife and stood before the visitor, seeking confirmation. Manoah prepared a young goat as a sacrifice upon a great rock to the Lord. As the flame flared up toward heaven, the angel ascended in the fire.
Woe is me!
There is no need to be afraid. Look toward the sky. Don't be afraid. We are not alone.
But I feared.
Have faith. Look.
In time, the promise was fulfilled. A son was born, and they named him Samson. The boy grew in strength, and the Lord's blessing rested upon him. In the camp of Dan, the Spirit of the Lord began to stir within his heart. In the vibrant town of Timnah, Samson saw a Philistine woman who captured his heart.
I must do this, Father. I know what I must do. Samson, please, consider the consequences.
Son, listen to your father. Think of us.
We need an answer. Please, we need to know.
Have faith, Manoah. We will have a sign.
As they traveled down to Timnah, Samson wandered alone into the lush, green vineyards. Suddenly, a young lion came roaring toward him from the thickets. Then the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him. With his bare hands, Samson grabbed the beast as if it were a young goat. He tore the lion apart by the power given to him from above. But he told neither his father nor his mother what he had done. Later, returning to the same spot, he saw a swarm of bees in the lion's carcass. He scooped out the honey and ate it as he went, finding sweetness in the strength he had shown. He gave some to his parents, yet the secret of the lion remained his alone. Thus began the journey of the Nazirite, where strength and sweetness were destined to meet. In Timnah, the air was thick with the scent of roasted meat and the laughter of a 7-day wedding feast. Confident and playful, Samson stood before his 30 Philistine companions with a challenge. Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. For 3 days, the Philistines puzzled over the words, their amusement turning into bitter frustration. Desperate, they cornered Samson's bride, threatening to burn her and her father's house if she failed them. She threw herself upon Samson, her tears flowing as she accused him of hating her. For 7 days she wept, until on the final day, her persistence finally broke his resolve. Samson whispered the secret of the lion and the honey, and she immediately betrayed it to her people. Just before sunset on the 7th day, the Philistines mocked him with the answer. If you had not plowed with my heifer, you would not have found out my riddle. Then the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him, fueling a righteous and violent rage. He descended upon the city of Ashkelon like a whirlwind of vengeance. With his bare hands, he struck down 30 men, their bronze armor no match for his strength. He stripped them of their festive garments to pay the debt he owed to the traitors. Burning with anger, Samson returned to his father's house, leaving behind a marriage turned to blood. Months later, during the wheat harvest, Samson returned to Timnah to visit his wife. He brought a young goat as a peace offering, seeking reconciliation in her private chamber. But her father blocked the way, his face filled with worry and apprehension.
I had no choice. I thought she was yours. Forgive me, please. I beg you to understand.
Samson's eyes flared with a cold, calculated fury at the ultimate betrayal. He vanished into the wilderness, moving with the speed of a desert predator. One by one, he captured 300 foxes, demonstrating his divinely given strength. In the twilight, he gathered the creatures, preparing a devastating blow to the Philistine economy. He tied the foxes tail to tail in pairs, fastening a torch between each pair. Then he lit the torches, turning the animals into living engines of destruction. He released them into the standing grain of the Philistines, a sea of fire following them. The dry harvest ignited instantly, the flames leaping from the shocks to the standing grain. The inferno spread to the vineyards and olive groves, wiping out their entire livelihood. Armored soldiers watched in despair as their wealth turned to pillars of smoke. In retaliation, the Philistines burned the Timnite woman and her father to death. Grief-stricken and enraged, Samson struck them down with a great slaughter. 3,000 men of Judah descended to the rock of Etam, trembling with fear. They confronted the hero of Israel, blaming him for the Philistine wrath upon them. Samson agreed to be bound, as long as his own people would not strike him. They bound him with 2 new ropes and led him away from the rock. As he approached Lehi, the Philistine army came running toward him with shouts of triumph. Suddenly, the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon Samson. The ropes on his arms became like charred flax and dropped from his hands. Looking down, he found a fresh large curved bone and reached for it. With the curved bone in hand, he struck down 1,000 men. He fought with the strength of God, a whirlwind of justice against the oppressors. One by one, the enemy fell before the Nazirite hero.
I have slain 1,000 men. I am weary, O Lord. Give me strength.
But as the adrenaline faded, a crushing thirst took hold of him.
God, I beg you, grant me strength just this once. Remember me, O Lord, that I may be avenged.
In that moment of total dependence, God answered his servant. Water gushed from the rock, a cool and refreshing stream in the wasteland. Samson drank and his spirit was revived, for God had provided for his champion. In the strength of his youth, Samson traveled to the Philistine stronghold of Gaza. The Philistines watched in horror as their defenses were dismantled. Samson lay still until midnight, the time of God's appointed movement. But Samson did not stop at the gate. He reached for the very foundations. Samson hoisted the massive weight onto his shoulders like a trophy. No dungeon could hold him, for the Spirit of the Lord was his strength. In the sun-drenched valley of Sorek, Samson's heart was captured by a woman named Delilah. But the Philistine lords saw an opportunity to finally destroy their greatest enemy. They offered her a fortune, 1,100 pieces of silver from each of them. Delilah began her pursuit, pleading with Samson to reveal the secret of his great strength.
And so I tore them from my arms like brittle twine.
Oh, you're so strong.
Nothing can bind these muscles.
While he slept, Delilah held him tightly, while Philistine men lay in wait in the inner room.
They're here, Samson! They're here!
Delilah, no.
But he snapped the bowstrings as easily as a piece of string touches a flame. Delilah accused him of making a fool of her, demanding to know his true secret.
You won't find better ropes anywhere in the city. Feel them.
They look strong, but looks can be deceiving. Don't you agree? Wait Wake up, Samson! They are here!
Attack now!
Attack now!
Samson broke the new threads off his arms like they were mere threads. Delilah's frustration grew, for the secret of his strength remained hidden. The game was becoming deadly as the loom of fate began to spin.
I weep for thee, Samson!
And still, you ask? Observe my strength.
She wove his 7 braids into the fabric and fastened it with the pin. But Samson awoke and tore the very loom from the ground, hair still intact. Day after day, Delilah pressed him with her words, her tears a constant weight upon his spirit.
You think you understand me? You only see what I allow.
Hidden in the shadows, the Philistine lords waited, their gold promised for his secret. Samson's soul was vexed unto death, weary of the struggle within his own home. At last, he told her all his heart, revealing the secret of his strength. Seeing he had told her the truth, she sent for the lords of the Philistines. She made him sleep upon her knees, a false sanctuary for the judge of Israel. A man was called to shave off the 7 locks of his head. One by one, the symbols of his vow fell silently to the floor. The spirit of the Lord began to depart, yet Samson slept on, unaware.
They're here, Samson! The Philistines!
You sold me, Delilah!
How could you?
No more! I am yours! But I will not fall easily! Let them come!
But he wist not that the Lord was departed from him. The Philistines seized him, their bronze armor clashing in the dim light. They seized him and gouged out his eyes, holding him in bronze cuffs to lead him to Gaza. Above, the temple of Dagon roars with the pride of 1,000 Philistines celebrating their victory.
Dagon reigns supreme! To Dagon! And to us! May our enemies weep at our feet!
A young boy is sent to lead the fallen hero into the center of the mocking assembly. Samson stands in the arena, a shadow of his former self, as insults rain down from the rooftops.
The pillars are strong, but the foundation must be weak. Can you find it?
I understand. I will find it.
The boy leads his hands to the 2 central pillars, the heart of the great structure. Samson reaches out, bracing himself between the stone giants, and lifts his face toward heaven. Sovereign Lord, remember me. Please, God, strengthen me just once more. The stone groans, cracks spiderweb across the pillars as the foundation begins to give way. The mockery turns to screams of terror as the roof begins to buckle above them. Let me die with the Philistines. Samson gives one last, superhuman heave. The great temple of Dagon crumbles in a thunderous roar of dust and stone. In his death, Samson achieved a greater victory than Samson, the judge who received unmatched power from God, yet crumbled because he could not overcome his own desires. But in his final moment of utter brokenness, God heard his sincere prayer and granted him one last chance. This story asks each one of us, what am I doing with the gifts and time that God has given me? True strength begins not in our bodies or talents, but in a heart that humbly bows before God in obedience. In a world full of temptation, may we acknowledge our weakness and walk with the Lord each and every day. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell. We'll be back soon with even more exciting Living Bible film. God bless you.